On my journey to find the right home outside of the West, I have seen this country pop up again and again and again. It seems to be one of the most popular options for setting up a residency, and there are a lot of people out there keen to help you with it. So, this is the episode of me looking into Paraguay, a fantastic option, at least on paper. Yet to be there, but from anecdotes from those on the ground, it seems like a wonderful option for either a plan A or a plan B, whether it is the 0% tax rate, whether it is the fact that they only require 1 day per year for you to be there to maintain temporary residency. I would suggest you stay longer than that, but that's just on paper there. And if you want to progress to citizenship, you'll need to demonstrate much more than that and spend a lot more time. But that is very convenient for you to try out the country and figure out if this is actually somewhere that you would like to spend a lot more time and eventually gain citizenship down the track. That's a great flexible option to have. It's also appealing from the perspective that it is in the heart of South America, and it is likely to sit out any future potential global conflict and sit it out relatively comfortably because it has an abundance of water, an abundance of great steak and food, and an abundance of cheap, available energy thanks to the abundance of water and hydroelectricity. So, this makes it a very attractive option on a whole lot of different fronts. Let me know what you think in the comments. Is this the option for you? Let's explore this topic together. We're going to look at Paraguay, which is bordered by Bolivia, Argentina to the south, and Brazil to the east. It is a very interesting country that has a lot of people talking about it right now for a multitude of different reasons. But it's useful to know that they have a territorial tax system, which means you won't be taxed on any income earned outside of Paraguay. So that's 0% tax on global income. That is extremely attractive. Essentially, the government lets you be there. That's what I've heard. I haven't been to Paraguay yet, but many people say it feels like the freest country in the Americas. And they have, on that note, quite liberal gun laws in that a lot of people own guns, and it's a relatively straightforward process. As a resident, you have a right to bear arms there, and you can get access to that. It's just the price of the guns is way more expensive than what you'd find in the US. So there is a low cost of living beyond the price of guns. So it potentially can be a great plan A for someone who wants to settle down in a more rural setting, or a plan B in case shit hits the fan and you would like to base yourself out of this country. So let's take a look at the different requirements for residency. There's quite a few changes that have happened. So this particular site is talking about permanent residency. Let's first start off with temporary residency because they have actually made this easier. So this is where are we? The official temporary residency from the government document talking about what's involved. And essentially, you can show up as long as you've got all the documents that they require. You can show up and lodge everything, and within a process of a couple of months, it depends, depending on who's the bureaucrat that you're working with at that time, and the agency that's helping you, or the fixer that's helping you to sort this out. They can then send it to you. They don't have long requirements for you to remain in the country. So you can lodge this and then gain temporary residency. And you have that for a year, and you can keep renewing it for a total of 6 years. But after, I believe, 2 years, you can then change that to a permanent residency. And if you've had permanent residency for 3 years, then you're able to apply for citizenship. So this is actually a pathway to citizenship, which makes it very attractive. They have a dual citizenship is accepted within Paraguay. However, it has to be mutually accepted from the country that you're coming from. So if you come from a country that has an agreement for dual citizenship with Paraguay, then they will honor that as well. And if you're in the West, a lot of countries do tend to have that. So while we're talking, they've changed this in that a lot of the people who were starting off, they were putting in 4,500 US into a bank account, and that would give you permanent residency. They've removed that completely, and they've got this temporary residency that is essentially for free. They're not checking so much on the finances as long as you have enough to look after yourself and survive in Paraguay, where it's a low cost of living. Then yes, you will be fine. Uh, for permanent residency, there's a couple of pathways here where you can actually invest a bit more and gain permanent residency straight away. So the first one is the largest one. If you are going to invest in the country at least 70,000 US, uh, then you can gain permanent residency straight away. Now, what's interesting about this is that you don't necessarily have to invest that 70,000 immediately. It's over the next 10 years. So you present a business plan of demonstrating how you or your company intends on spending that investment. And it could be used on purchasing investments like real estate, offering services, engagement in commerce and agricultural land. So it's very broad, and this could be a great option for many of you. There's also, if you are retired, there's the retirement visa that is applicable. If you're earning a retirement income over 1,022 US dollars, then you're eligible for retirement in Paraguay. So that's would give you permanent residency without the limitations that are usually there. Bank deposit, this is the one that has been scrapped. So that was the most popular one. If you put 4,500 into a bank and then you applied for residency, you could gain permanent residency, and then you could take the money out of the bank. So essentially it was free. You were just kind of holding it there, besides the costs and fees of getting the applying for the residency. That one has been scrapped completely. So now arguably it's easier. Now there's no money that needs to be involved. However, it costs more in time unless you're willing to do the investment route that we just spoke about there. So let's take a look here. Don't need that one. Let's take a look at the passport. So it's got quite a good score in regards to mobility. Let's check out how it is going. Of course, as part of the Mercosur, so that's great, opening up the whole southern cone of Latin America. As you can see there, a lot of green. It's all green. So it opens up basically everywhere except for Guyana, Mexico, Central America, and huge parts of Europe. In fact, all of Europe except for Belarus, and it opens up Russia as well. So this can be a passport that can really open up some interesting parts of the world. And I think it is a fantastic second passport to have, particularly if you're coming from a Western country. This could open up places that are a little trickier, like the Russian Federation. So, all in all, I think Paraguay is sounding extremely attractive. I would say the potential negatives of Paraguay are there's bureaucracy, like all of Latin America, I'd say all of the world actually. Everywhere we generally deal with bureaucracy. The court systems are not super fair. I have heard stories about how complicated it can be. So just make sure before you make any investments, before you get too involved in certain things, you want to make sure that if it ever comes to going to court, you're okay with losing, because there's a very fair chance as a foreigner that the odds would be stacked against you. The flight connections, if you're going to be traveling a lot, Paraguay probably isn't the greatest option because it can be a little inconvenient getting in and out and with limited connections, and it is rather remote. But that is something that also makes it very attractive, because if we do have some major global conflict, then this kind of southern cone here is going to be largely it has the greatest chance of being largely left untouched or kind of forgotten by much of the rest of the world in regards to conflict.
And food security, energy security, they are some really important things, water security, and Paraguay ticks all of those boxes. So if you want a slice of freedom in the heart of Latin America, then this could be a fantastic option for you.
All right, guys, what do you think? Is this going to be the one for you? Keep in mind, I don't believe there are any perfect places out there. Everything comes with its trade off. However, I do believe that there could be somewhere that is perfectly suited for what is most important for you. So let's figure that out together. I am a brand new channel. This is Exit West, the show where we explore the crisis the West is experiencing right now and look for opportunities and options outside of the West to vote with our feet, so to speak. I appreciate all the shares, the likes, the comments, the subscriptions, as well as we grow this channel and figure out those options together.